Hello, it is Sara Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for Wellness Astrology, this time for the moon in Taurus. This is November 14th and 15th, and this does include the full moon in Taurus. Of course, you can always go back to the Scorpio sun and rising signs where I go over all 12 zodiac signs for this Taurus full moon. As well as, of course, the Scorpio new moon. So if something came up for you from that new moon and you're feeling something stirring through this Taurus new full moon, go back and look at those sun and rising signs. And of course, if you would like a personalized single transit reading, you can get that in the link below as well. So, and I'll also say this, if you're looking to close out 2024 on a high note with your health and wellness goals, you can also book the Wellness Astrology Consultation below as well. And feel free to share with your friends if you've got some friends that are going through a wellness journey or a fitness journey. They can certainly sign up for the Wellness Astrology Consultation as well. And do share these videos if you feel the urge. And like and comment. I do appreciate your comments and your likes and all of the things. Okay, so let's get into it. Let me pull up the chart. I'll be right back. All righty. So this full moon in Taurus is, look out, it's conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So that automatically tells us that there's going to be some disruption around this full moon. Uranus is disruptive, it's rebellious, it shakes things up, it's about freedom, it's about your own authority. But because this is in an earth sign, Taurus, this could also mean something to do with finances or the financial system. I'm already starting to see things happening with the financial system since the election. So I don't know enough about the stock markets and stuff to talk about it, but I know I've already seen some stuff happen in there. So just, advise, just be advised. It's not, I won't give you financial advice. That's definitely above my pay grade. The other thing I noted on this chart, while it's not perfected or exact yet, because Mars is only at 3 degrees of Leo and the nodes are at 5 degrees of Aries Libra, but Mars is moving in on a harmonious trine with the North Node and a harmonious sextile with the South Node in Libra. So if we think about Mars being in Leo, the shiny star, right? The center of attention, the eye, the sun, right? Leo rules the sun, but Mars rules Aries. And so I feel like with this trine, we have this supportive sort of I really love this trine and sextile ahead of Pluto moving into Aquarius, which happens like 4 days from this full moon. I love this trine because it's kind of a motive, sort of a almost like a motivational or like reminder that we are individuals and independent and interdependent, meaning we need each other, right? We need each other to do life, right? Ahead of Pluto in Aquarius, which is the individual and the collective, right? It's the individual. Aquarius is the water bearer. He brings the water, he supplies the water to those who are thirsty. And so I feel like this is kind of it's an ego check for sure, because you don't have to do everything yourself. No one's alone here. No one's alone here. Um, so we've got that going on, that trine and sextile. Again, it's not perfected. It probably will be a couple of days yet before it's exact. But it is certainly building. Mars is moving really, really slow as he's preparing to retrograde in mid-December. So, we've got that retrograde shadow going on with Mars. So he's moving super slow right now in Leo. But back to this full moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus. Um, So again, we're talking about the Taurus Scorpio axis in the Cancerian decan of Scorpio and the, what are we at? The Saturnian, so Capricornian decan of Taurus. And again, with Pluto at 29, finishing up at 29. So something's going to shake up here. We also have Mercury in his pre-retrograde shadow. He's come off of his square to Saturn, which Saturn's now direct by we hit this full moon. Thank God. But he's gonna sit, Saturn is a male. Saturn's gonna sit at 12 degrees, 41 minutes. He's gonna be at 12 degrees for a while. So but Mercury's done with the square to Saturn. However, now we've got Mercury building in an opposition to Jupiter and Gemini. I have a lot of thoughts about that that I'll get into in the weekend moon in the weekend wellness video with the moon in Gemini. Um, but so we're kind of in this fire hose of information, right? This fire hose of Pluto finishing up in Capricorn in 4 days, and Pluto is completing something from 2008, right? We really got to think back to that 2008 time frame when Pluto entered Capricorn. Um, and what happened then? Wasn't there like a housing market crash in 2008? I think 2008 might have been like the year that I bought a house because, well, I bought the house in 2009, but I bought it because there was a low lull in the market. And so houses were like super cheap. Um, and the people that I bought the house from were like really desperate to get out of their mortgage. So, yeah. So anyway, I didn't own the house very long, but because that's also about the same time that I chose to quit my job for mental health reasons. So anywho, so I mean, that's what I've been feeling through this entire 16 years is my mental health. And that's been a huge contributor to me and how I've chosen to push forward with my life as I have moved through a lot of mental health stuff in the last 16 years that Pluto's been in Capricorn. So that's what it's been like for me. So I would really invite you to kind of feel through this over the next few days of like, what is being completed for me, or what have I almost could almost say you graduated from something with Pluto with Pluto. Um, but anyway, so as we have Mercury in shadow, Jupiter in retrograde, but Mercury and Jupiter are having some conversations going on. The sun is at 24, of course, Scorpio. But yeah, there's definitely some emotion and um potentially some change or evolution around money systems. I mean, Taurus is like our personal money or our personal possessions. Scorpio is like our shared or like inheritance type things or like taxes. Um, so some stuff could be coming out about that. Uh, what else? Venus is in Capricorn, so Venus is in an earth sign, though not at a trine to this full moon, but there's like that receptivity between the full moon happening in Venus' sign and Venus being in an earth sign, kind of in a supportive way. There's not an exact trine happening or anything, but Venus is kind of grounded in in Capricorn, so it kind of supports this full moon. But don't be surprised if there's this is on a Friday and they like to drop news on a Friday. This full moon peaks on a Friday. And they kind of like to drop a bombshell on a Friday. I've noticed at least most of 2024 anyway, they have. So Saturn's direct, that's good, but now it's kind of we're getting into the space of forward momentum. Granted, we don't feel like it's forward momentum because Mars and Mercury, those two personal planets, Mars being our motivation, Mercury being our mindset and our mental processing and things like that. And so it doesn't feel like it's full steam ahead. It certainly isn't going to for a while, because while the outer planets, meaning Pluto, Saturn, eventually Neptune, eventually Jupiter, and eventually Uranus, are going to station direct and change signs in 2025, but we have this Mars retrograde that's going to be going on for a long time. He retrogrades from December 16th through February 23rd. And so think back to the end of 2022 into 2023 when Mars went retrograde the last time, and I remember what I was going through, and it was a brain fog, crazy situation. Anyway, so that's kind of the grand picture of the astrology right now. Is we're right at this, and Scorpio's kind of this like this season where everything starts to kind of get going. The change starts to happen. Obviously, we've already seen that start and begin to happen and begin to unfold, and many of us don't know what it looks like just yet. And some of us are not in a good place, and others of us and others are kind of in a good place and looking forward to it. So what I have said this whole time, hang on to the raft, it's going to be okay, and flow with the water. But also be attentive to your nervous system and your mental capacity, your energy capacity. Turn off your phone, get off the social media. Turn off the news. If you need to listen to the weather, be attentive to the weather. Find an app that's specifically about the weather so you don't have to expose yourself to the info overload of the news broadcast leading up to the weather report. If you're from the Chicagoland area, you understand what I'm about to say, that everybody knew what time Tom Skilling came on was around 9:35 every night, because that is the only part of the WGN news that you cared about, was Tom Skilling. If you know Tom Skilling. He was like amazing meteorologist on WGN for, I don't know, he was there for like 40 years or something. It was fabulous. Anyway, so be attentive to your nervous system. Uranus is involved, which is the nervous system. Mercury is in his pre-retrograde shadow, opposing Jupiter. That's a lot to do with the nervous system and brain work, like mental work, right? But it's also information, and it's truth seeking and all of those things. So there is a lot going on. There's a lot of dang it, there's a lot of unstable energy, but there's also like a lot of people moving through very unstable mental concerns or mental health or mental processing, right? So there's a lot going on. Pay attention to your loved ones. Pay attention to people that seem like they're not okay. Get support where you need it. Like I said, coaches, psychotherapy, support groups, things like that. That can be really supportive, even like getting involved with, excuse me, getting involved with some social groups that can be supportive for you, and things like that, because this is a very trying time, and this is the beginning of the next 6 months of a lot of change. So let's see what's up with the Star Trek Next Gen Tarot. And go from there. So don't forget, over in my community section, you can join the Writers Circle. I'm hosting that once a week on Tuesdays. So you can send me an email and get the weekly link to be a part of the Writer Circle. So if you've got some writing goals going on, you can work on that. Hosted the first one. Well, I guess second one by now. Guess I should have talked about it more. Whoops, my bad. But I hosted the first and second one already, and I've gotten a lot done. on my books, and I'm in the very tedious editing parts of both of my books. So I'm actually dedicating a lot of time right now to um, my writing goals. So, um, you can tell it's getting chilly because I can't pick up the cards right. Oh, I like it. The Magician Upright, Geordie LaForge. Holy shit. We haven't drawn this one in a really, really long time. I love this. I've really liked both lunations, the Scorpio new moon and this full moon. I really like them. A lot of that has to do with this one because Saturn's stationed direct. While Saturn's not quite moving forward yet, at least he's direct. And we are, like I said, days away from Pluto and Aquarius, and we've got that Mars in a harmonious aspect or harmonious conversation with the nodes. So it's a lot to do with being independent, interdependent, knowing that we need each other to make things happen, developing those relationships with people who can support us and be there for us in our physical reality. And, this Uranus thing could bring money, right? Like, this doesn't have to be a bad thing that Uranus is involved. It could mean money. It could mean we get money. It could mean that, we see some daily living prices go down finally. Um, things like that. So it could mean some financial relief for some people. Kind of maybe depends on where Taurus lands in your chart, in your personal chart. But there certainly could be some change happening for some people, and that could be a good thing. But remember that you are the magician. You hold the wand. You are the one to create the life that you want. So if you want to, here's the thing, if you want to experience joy or happiness or contentment or security, you're the one that can provide that for yourself by the people that you're around, not by the powers that be making their, creating whatever's, right? It's all about the people that you're around that make you feel safe and secure, right? And so you're the magician. Maybe this means you're going to move so that you can be more supported. Let's see what else we got. Um, Strength in reverse, but you don't feel like you can do it. You don't feel like that you can make the adjustments. You don't feel like you can make the changes. You don't feel like you deserve the money. You don't feel like you can do the work required to make the money. Um, yeah, all of those things. So find your inner warrior, your inner dwarf, your inner Klingon, and go make the changes happen for yourself in your immediate community. Let me tell you, when we move into this Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years, we're all going to get to know our communities really well. Our immediate community. Who can you count on when you have a situation you can't handle yourself? Do you have a cleaning person? Do you have a driver? Do you have I don't know. Do you have somebody that can get you groceries? Do you have a food pantry if you need one? Do you have access to a gym if you need one? Do you have access to, I don't know, like any resource that it is that you maybe would need, because none of us is able to do this world by ourselves, is what I'm pointing at. And so, but you are the one who has to believe that you have the strength to do it, to flip this card around. And you're the one that is the magician that can make this shit happen. I love these cards and I like the strength in reverse, but I also understand why, because Mars and Mercury are about to go retrograde. This card should be in reverse because we don't feel strong enough, because right now we feel like we are pulling a weight behind us. If you've ever been to a gym and you've had to do a pull like if you've been to a dojo too, you've probably had to pull a person across the mat with a belt, with a martial arts belt. we don't feel strong right now, and that is okay. But what can you do to build your mental muscles? What can you do? Can you lift weights? Can you do body weight exercises? Can you meditate every day? Right? This is what we're talking about here is this is not about lifting weights and how much can you bench or how much can you squat. This is also about how much can you mentally be disciplined through this Mercury retrograde coming up on the 25th and the Mars retrograde coming up on the 16th of December. What can you mentally take on? And do you have the endurance to do all of that? The answer is yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Let's see what's up with the dark magic MAGICK. Okay, so we got two more moon transits for the end of Scorpio season. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to keep the Dark Magic MAGICK Oracle deck, or should I switch to a different one? There's also not a lot of cards. I think there's only like 31 cards in this deck, so it's not a very big deck. It could get a little boring, but I kind of like it. I might keep it for Sag season. But then what am I going to use for Aquarius? Because I think this would be a great deck for Aquarius as well. I'll have to look at my decks and see what feels right for Sagittarius season. But I've really liked this one for Scorpio season. I think it's been really fitting to, work with shadow work and everything like that. So let's see what we get for this full moon in Taurus. Ooh, masked. Masked, masked. Um, it says honor your authenticity. Well, what do you know? Time to take off the mask. Time to take off the mask. That's a very dark image. There we go. Um, Time to honor yourself. I remember a time when I was living in Arizona and one of my friends was in town and she was going to be dropping off some stuff that I needed to get from her. Um, and the day that she was dropping that stuff off, I was not home. I was on the other side I was in the East Valley and my home was in the West Valley. If you know Arizona, if you know Phoenix, you know what I'm talking about. So I was literally 45 minutes by car away from where she was going to be dropping it off, but I wasn't driving, I was on the train. So obviously that meant that I was more like an hour and a half away. So I wasn't going to make it to meet her. And I was devastated because I really wanted to see her. But she just kept telling me, she's like, I can't wait for you to get here because I really have to get to the ocean. She's like, I can no longer be away from the ocean. And it's a matter of that for her, that was her integrity. That was like, she absolutely needed the cleanse, the ocean air, the water, the waves, and all of the things that come along with Mama Ocean. And so she needed to get on the road. And she just kept saying, I can't be out of integrity anymore. Right. I, she couldn't wear the mask anymore. She had to get where her body, her mental state was telling her she needed to be, right? She couldn't be masked anymore. She had to get in alignment with her authenticity. So feel into that for yourself because what is it that's coming up for you with this, with everything that's going on and with this full moon and with whatever came through for you in that Scorpio new moon on November 1st? Something is emerging for you. Your relationship is not satisfactory. Where you live is not fulfilling. Where you work is not in alignment because they don't honor you. They don't value you. You're a hard worker. You do your job. You show up. You work extra hours and they don't want to give you credit for it. Where are you that you're not giving yourself credit for the growth, for your transformation, for being able to write where you or speak where you haven't been able to speak or write before. Where are you out of alignment that you need to take the mask off your face and step into a whole new version of yourself? Now, that was some powerful shit right there. Take care of yourself, take care of your nervous system. Get the things that you need to get for yourself. Get to be where you need to be for yourself. And I realize it's easier said than done. I'm definitely in one of those situations. I get it. But remember that just because you're not where you want to be right now, or who you're around, or where you're working, or all these things right now, use this full moon with Uranus. Use the Mercury retrograde, use this Mars retrograde to prepare. Why do you think I've been talking about writing so much? Because I'm like, I want to prepare. I want to be able to publish these books in 2025. But to get to publication, they've got to be ready to be edited. And yes, I'll have a professional editor, but there's a lot of pre-editor, I kind of just have like shitty first drafts. Now it's time to put them all together. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think y'all get it. So I love you. I'm sending you a ton of love, a ton of support. Please like this video. Please leave a comment. It certainly helps the algorithm. If you love what I talk about, please drop a comment and just say, hey, you can even say, I'm here for the algorithm. That's fine. I do that on people's videos, but these small content creators out here, we busting our asses out here. When you watch one of their videos, drop a comment on their videos. Let them know that you support them in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just, hi, I was here. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Happy full moon.